Aesop stories. Number 11. Tim the Fisherman and His Flute. Once upon a time, in a small coastal village, there was a fisherman named Tim. Tim was not just any fisherman. He was also a great musician who loved to play the flute. Every day he would go to the sea with his fishing net and his beloved flute. Tim had a unique idea. He thought that if he played beautiful music on his flute, the fish in the sea would be drawn to the melody and swim into his net. So, one sunny morning, Tim went to his favorite spot on the shore. He stood on a large rock that stretched out into the water. He started to play his flute. The tunes were sweet and floated over the waves. Tim played song after song, hoping that the fish would hear his music and come to him. He played for hours, but no fish came near his net. Tim was patient and kept playing, but still, no fish appeared. The sun was getting high in the sky, and Tim was feeling a bit tired. He finally stopped playing and decided to try the usual way of fishing. He put away his flute and threw his net into the sea. In no time at all, the net was full of fish. Tim pulled the net onto the rock and saw the fish jumping and flipping inside it. Looking at the lively fish, Tim couldn't help but laugh. He said to the fish, "Oh, you strange creatures. When I played my music, you didn't come. But now that I've stopped, here you are, dancing in my net." Tim realized that his plan to attract fish with music was a bit silly. Fish couldn't dance to his tunes after all. They were just fish, and they didn't understand music. From that day on, Tim continued to play his flute because he loved music, but he didn't try to catch fish with his tunes anymore. He used his net like all the other fishermen. Tim's story spread through the village. The villagers found it funny and charming. They would often say, "Music is for dancing, not for fishing," and they would laugh and shake their heads. But Tim didn't mind. He was happy to fish in his own way and play his flute just for the joy of it. He knew that some things, like playing music, were just for fun and not for work, and so Tim the fisherman became known as Tim the musician too. He caught plenty of fish with his net and filled the village with beautiful music from his flute. He was a reminder that it's important to do what you love, even if it's just for fun. Number 12. Billy the Farmer and His Stuck Wagon. In a small village, there was a farmer named Billy. He had a big wagon that he used to carry hay and vegetables from his farm to the market. One sunny day, while Billy was driving his wagon down a country road, something unexpected happened. The road was muddy from the rain the night before, and there were deep ruts in the ground. As Billy was driving, the wheels of his wagon got stuck in one of these ruts. Try as he might, Billy couldn't move the wagon. It was stuck very deep in the mud. Billy didn't know what to do. He stood there looking at his stuck wagon, feeling very upset. Then he remembered the stories he had heard about Hercules, a strong hero from the old tales. People said Hercules could do anything, so Billy started to call out loudly, "Hercules, please come and help me. My wagon is stuck and I can't move it." Just then, a stranger was passing by. He heard Billy calling for Hercules and saw the stuck wagon. The stranger walked over to Billy and said, "Why are you just standing there calling for Hercules? You need to try to help yourself first. Put your shoulder to the wagon and push. Encourage your horses to pull harder." Billy was surprised. He hadn't thought of trying to push the wagon himself. He thought he needed someone strong like Hercules to help. But the stranger's words made sense to him, so Billy decided to try. He put his shoulder against the wagon and pushed with all his might. He also encouraged his horses to pull harder. Slowly, the wagon started to move. With a little effort, the wheels came out of the rut, and the wagon was free. Billy was so happy and grateful. He thanked the stranger for his advice. The stranger smiled and said, "Remember, self-help is the best help. Before asking for help, always try to do what you can yourself." Billy learned an important lesson that day. He realized that he was capable of solving his problems if he just tried. From then on, whenever he faced a problem, he remembered to try to solve it himself first. The story of Billy and his stuck wagon became a lesson for everyone in the village. They all learned that it's good to try to help yourself before asking for help from others. And if you do need help, it's because you've already tried your best. And Billy? He became known as the farmer who learned the value of self-help. Thanks to a stuck wagon and the wise words of a passing stranger. Number 13. Ants, the Grasshopper, and Winter Food. In a sunny field, there lived a busy group of ants. All summer long, these ants worked hard. They collected food and stored it for winter. The ants knew that during winter, food would be hard to find. Near the ants, there was a grasshopper who loved to sing. He sang from morning until night. He watched the ants work, but he never helped. He thought, "Why work so hard? There is plenty of food." Summer passed and winter came. The fields turned white with snow, and food was nowhere to be seen. The grasshopper was cold and very hungry. He remembered the ants and their food store. Shivering, the grasshopper went to the ants' home. He saw the ants eating the food they had saved. "Please," he asked the ants, "can I have some food? I am very hungry." The ants stopped and looked at the grasshopper. They remembered how he sang all summer. "Why didn't you collect food in the summer?" they asked. "I was busy singing," the grasshopper said. "I didn't have time to collect food." The ants shook their heads. "If you spent summer singing instead of working, you must spend winter without food," they said. The grasshopper was sad. He realized that he had made a mistake. He should have worked in the summer, like the ants. From that day, the grasshopper learned to work and save for the future. He never forgot the lesson the ants taught him. Work today so you can eat tomorrow. The ants continued to collect food every summer. They always had enough to eat in the winter. And the grasshopper? He learned to sing a little and work a lot. He became friends with the ants and helped them collect food. The story of the ants and the grasshopper spread across the field. It reminded everyone to work hard and prepare for the future. And the grasshopper's songs became happier because he knew that after work, there was always time for a song. Number 14. Tom and his dog Rover's journey. Tom was a man who loved adventures. He decided to go on a journey to see new places. Tom had a dog named Rover, who was his best friend. Rover was a smart and loyal dog, always ready for an adventure with Tom. On the day of their journey, Tom was busy packing his bag. He put in clothes, some food, and a map. Rover watched Tom and waited patiently. He knew they were going on a trip and was excited. When Tom finished packing, he looked for Rover. He found Rover sitting by the door. Rover looked like he was just relaxing and stretching. Tom said to Rover, "Why are you just sitting there? We need to go. I am all ready, and you are still sitting." Rover looked up at Tom and wagged his tail. He barked softly as if to say, "I am ready, Tom. I have been waiting for you." Tom realized that Rover was right. While he thought Rover was just sitting, Rover was actually all set to go. It was Tom who had taken a long time to get ready. Tom laughed and patted Rover. "You are a smart dog, Rover. You were ready before me," he said. Tom and Rover set out on their journey. They walked through forests, crossed rivers, and climbed hills. They saw beautiful places and met new friends. During their journey, Tom learned something important. Sometimes he thought others were slow, but it was him who needed to be faster. Rover always knew when it was time to go and when it was time to rest. Tom and Rover had many adventures together. They always helped each other and stayed by each other's side. The story of Tom and Rover's journey became well known. People learned from their story that sometimes what we think about others is not true. We might think someone is slow or not ready, but they might be waiting for us. Rover showed Tom that being a good friend means being patient and understanding, and Tom showed Rover that life is full of adventures when you have a friend to share them with. Tom and Rover continued to travel and explore. Wherever they went, they had fun and looked out for each other. They were a great team, a man and his dog, ready for any adventure that came their way. Number 15. Baxter the Dog and His Reflection. Once there was a dog named Baxter. Baxter was a happy dog who loved to explore. One sunny day, Baxter found a delicious piece of meat. He was very happy and decided to take it home to enjoy it. As Baxter walked home, he crossed a small bridge over a clear stream. While crossing the bridge, Baxter looked down into the water. What he saw surprised him. In the water there was another dog. This dog also had a piece of meat in its mouth. Baxter didn't realize that he was looking at his own reflection in the water. The meat in the reflection looked bigger and better than his. Baxter wanted that bigger piece of meat. He thought, "I will drop my meat and take that bigger piece from the other dog." So Baxter let go of his meat and barked at the reflection in the water. But as soon as he opened his mouth, his piece of meat fell into the stream. It floated away and was gone. Baxter tried to grab the bigger piece of meat from the other dog. But there was no other dog. It was just his reflection. Baxter was confused and sad. He had lost his meat trying to get something that wasn't real. Baxter sat by the stream, thinking about what had happened. He realized that he had made a mistake. He had something good, but he let it go for something that seemed better, but wasn't real. From that day, Baxter learned to be happy with what he had. He understood that sometimes what we see and want might not be real or better than what we already have. Baxter continued his adventures, but he never forgot the lesson he learned at the bridge. He knew that it was important to be grateful for what you have and not to be greedy for more. The story of Baxter and his reflection spread through the village. It reminded everyone to appreciate what they have and not to be fooled by things that seem better, but are not real. Baxter became a wiser dog. He enjoyed his walks and adventures, always remembering to be thankful for the good things in his life. And whenever he crossed the bridge again, he smiled and walked happily, knowing that the best things in life are the ones we already have.